Long ago, society was specular on the issue of mental health. Many mocked, dismissed, and invalidated its relevance and existence, until the world has begun to process and challenge the obsolete ideas and outdated concepts of humankind. Mental health is no longer the myth it used to be. It is now the scientific, psychological, and social fact that governs the underpinnings of education, society, and life at large. Good day, folks. I'm Raymond Cervantes, and I'm going to recite my speech entitled Reshaping the Paradigms of Education, the Paramount Role of Mental Health and Wellness in the Curriculum. It is not always easy to deal with life as a teenager. There are many social pressures, family pressures, and unique emotional stress that seems only increase as we get older. New mental health awareness campaigns worldwide are finally starting to address the need for more education in this field. In many countries, education has begun to include mental health and wellness within the curriculum. But there is still much work, primarily in the Philippines, that mental health is a prevalent issue in paramount public health concern. People can learn more about their mental health when they're younger, and this would make easier for them when they're struggling with difficult emotion or have trauma later on in life. The first step in preventing this stigma is learning about it. With a lack of understanding, people will continue to discriminate against those with mental health condition. Do we want our future generation unprepared for this kind of adversity? No, and that's why it's time to start teaching kids what real life will look for them when they grow up. The stigma surrounding mental health is the most significant factor in deterring people from seeking the treatment they need. It seems odd that people who are so vulnerable to being hurt are so reluctant to get help. No blood test will reveal what's going on inside, nor is there any other medical evidence that would make an outsider think something was medically wrong with the person experiencing these symptoms. This leads to people with the condition feeling alienated and alone. So mental healthness should be taught as part of the school curriculum because students must know how to cope with emotional difficulties in their lifetime. With mental health is emphasized within the school curriculum, students will learn more about their mental health. Unfortunately, most people have not been educated enough about mental health and how it affects one's life that school can help ease the burden of stress of the student and manage this issue. While some teenagers can cope with these responsibilities, others may need help from professionals who can first avoid or overcome any mental health issues before taking harmful substances. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, mental illnesses are real medical conditions that disrupts a person's thinking, feeling, mood, and ability to relate others in daily functioning. Some of the most common disorders that people suffer are depression and anxiety. Addressing mental health needs in school is critically crucial for the reason that 1 in 5 children and teens have a diagnosable emotional, behavior, or mental health disorder, and 1 in 10 young people have a mental health crisis that is critically enough to undermine how they function at home, school, or in the community. Another reason mental health and wellness education should be taught in school is that it helps children become more empowered when dealing with difficult situations. Latest figure from the PSA show that suicide incidents rose 20.5% in 2020, making it the 27th leading cause of death in 2020 from 31st in 2019. Some 3,529 cases of intentional self-harm were recorded in 2020, which was higher than 2,808 deaths recorded in 2019. From 2015 to 2020, the average number of deaths caused by suicide was 2,630, and these skyrocketed cases is alarming these days. Most students don't know how to handle their emotions when they feel depressed, as they know what else to do, and sometimes it will lead to the ending their pain by death. Teachers and students must be equipped with approaches to recognize signs of developing mental health quandaries, and there should as opportunities around the perception and management of mental health disasters, including the risk of suicide or self-harm. Emphasizing to them that mental health is an integral part of health, and that the idea from recovery from mental illness will include self-care and responsibility for one's mental health and wellness. We owe to empower them with vast knowledge and art and dialogue that will be able to get help when they need. It will allow them to understand the importance of being physically and mentally fit. Learning this information at a young age can help them later in life when they start being more active and getting into a relationship. And above all, integrating mental health and wellness into the school curriculum should not be debatable. These are the necessities of life and learning. As teachers plan their lessons, learning deliveries, and overall pedagogy, it has always been imperative to put a premium on the learner's cognitive domain in other parts of learning Bloom's taxonomy, such as affective and psychomotor. One cannot be practical nor capable of psychomotor if the cognitive domain of learners is compromised. Just like how the tagline of Field with Physical Education of learners that emphasize strong body and strong mind. If we have P for our bodies, we should have something to foster and fuel our minds for these two inseparable citadels of our existence, indivisible and interdependent. Thus, to argue whether mental health and wellness should be added into the curriculum is preposterous at all. Because, in the first place, it should be the prerequisite in making education effective, responsive, and scientifically anchored. The building blocks of learning are determined in the wellness of learners and mental health, and it should always be the premise of education to advocate for its success and practice. So if we're going to live a healthy lifestyle, everyone must know about mental health and wellness. It is essential to recognize that as we get older, we have more responsibilities in our life, but it doesn't mean that we can no longer benefit from the support of mental health professionals. Teachers can encourage students to ask for help if they ever feel overwhelmed with their adult lives. As adults, we can learn how to recognize the signs of stress, depression, and anxiety in other young people so that can help be provided before this issue becomes too severe and they should be introduced to the schools for various reasons. The student will have more knowledge and skills for life and will handle difficult situations when they arise and help quickly to avoid tragic consequences. It is a profoundly impacts students' lives that having a school environment that teaches students about their emotional well-being can save lives throughout their childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Extensive cooperation between government efforts pre, during, and post-disasters guarantees that afflicted children and their families are provided with necessary and proper care and support. It is also essential to administer long-term assistance to ensure children and adolescents' well-being by implementing this curriculum. Furthermore, psychosocial preparedness necessitates being blended into school and community actions to implement the population with the awareness and abilities required in this situation. Early detection interventions, strategies work will further cultivate resilience and success in school and life. After all, prevention is better than cure. Regardless of students' age, everyone must understand their mental well-being and the importance of mental health in life. That's all. Thank you.